Listen carefully. Most people run from pain. They hide from it, numb it, distract themselves until the world forgets they even existed. But not you, not anymore. Because pain is the most honest teacher life will ever give you. And if you learn how to use it, if you learn how to convert every struggle into fuel, you become unstoppable. Turn pain into power. Turn power into victory. That's the philosophy. That's the mindset. That's the difference between the average and the exceptional. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is the signal that you are being forged into someone stronger. Every time life hits you, it's testing your capacity to rise. Most men complain, break down, or blame everyone but themselves. But the ones who win, truly win, look pain dead in the eyes and say, good, give me more, I'll use it. That's the mindset you need. When you're tired, when the world looks unfair, when you feel alone, you don't collapse. You convert. You turn the struggle into strength, the frustration into focus, the heartbreak into hunger. You don't allow pain to weaken you. You weaponize it. That's what powerful men do. Every scar, every failure, every long night where you questioned everything, those were not losses. They were lessons preparing you for your breakthrough. Most people want success without sacrifice. They want victory without the war. But the truth is simple. Power is earned through suffering, discipline, consistency, and refusing to quit when everyone else does. When you finally build power from that pain, you don't stop there. Power means nothing if you don't do something with it. Power must be directed. It must be applied. Turn that power into victory. Use your discipline to outwork everyone. Use your focus to stay locked in when others get distracted. Use your resilience to rise when every circumstance tries to bring you down. Every day you wake up with a choice. Remain the man you were yesterday or become the man you're destined to be. And here's the hook that will change your life if you accept it. The world doesn't reward emotions. It rewards results. The world doesn't respect weakness. It respects winners, and winners are built from pain. So take every hardship, every loss, every betrayal, and turn it into something powerful. Let it push you harder. Let it sharpen your mind. Let it build your character. Victory is not given. It's seized by the men who refuse to let pain break them. Pain is your greatest teacher because it delivers lessons with a clarity that comfort can never offer. When everything is easy, you grow slow. When life gets tough, you evolve fast. Pain removes illusions, exposes weakness, and forces you to face the truth about who you are and what you're capable of becoming. Most people run from this truth because it's sharp, uncomfortable, and brutally honest. But those who step into their pain, those who choose to confront it instead of escaping it, become the ones who rise above everyone else. And here's the hook. Every moment you avoid pain, someone else is using that same pain to get ahead of you. That alone should ignite something inside you. Pain teaches you discipline because discipline requires discomfort. You can't grow by staying in your comfort zone. You grow when you challenge yourself, when you say no to your excuses, when you push through limits you once believed were unbreakable. Every early morning you don't want to get up, every workout that burns, every rejection that hits your ego, these aren't setbacks. They're shaping tools. They carve out your character and forge your resilience. And the moment you learn to appreciate this, pain stops feeling like a punishment and starts becoming a pathway to power. What people forget is that pain always carries a message. When you fail, the message is clear, something must change. When someone betrays you, the message is simple, you trusted the wrong people. When life blocks your path, the message is direct. Build a stronger version of yourself. These messages hurt, but they are priceless. Pain doesn't waste your time the way comfort does. Pain forces you to adapt, to grind, to become someone worthy of the success you dream about. It doesn't sugarcoat anything. It gives you the raw truth that comfort tries to hide. And here's another hook you need to embed into your mindset. The world will always respect the man who learns from pain more than the man who hides from it. People admire strength, not softness. They admire the one who kept going through storms, not the one who collapsed in sunshine. When you choose to let pain teach you instead of break you, you automatically separate yourself from the majority. You become part of that rare group of individuals who embrace growth, fight for their evolution, and rebuild themselves stronger every single time. Pain also builds self-awareness. When you're hurt, you learn what truly matters. You discover who supports you and who disappears. You learn your own limits, and more importantly, how to surpass them. You find out what you're willing to endure for your goals. Pain strips away distractions and reveals your priorities. It shows you what deserves your energy and what doesn't. And when you learn this, your life becomes sharper, cleaner, more focused. You stop chasing validation and start chasing progress. But the greatest lesson pain teaches is this: you are far stronger than you think. Every time you survive something you thought would destroy you, you expand your understanding of your own power. Pain stretches your capacity. It pushes your boundaries. It shows you that you can endure more, achieve more, and rise higher than you ever imagined. And once you realize that, once you understand what you're truly capable of, fear loses its grip on you. That is the moment you become dangerous in the best way possible. So the next time life hits you, don't collapse. Don't complain. Stand up, face it, listen to the lesson. Because pain is not the enemy. Pain is the mentor that forces you to grow, demands you to rise, and prepares you to win. Embrace it, learn from it, and let it forge the strongest version of who you are meant to become. Turning struggle into strength is one of the most powerful transformations a person can experience, but it requires a mindset that most people never develop. Struggle exposes you, challenges you, and forces you to see the parts of yourself that you usually avoid. But instead of breaking you, it has the potential to build you into someone unrecognizable in the best way possible. The truth is simple. Every obstacle in your life is either a weight that crushes you or a weight that trains you. And here's the hook. The difference is not the weight, it's you, your mindset, your discipline, your response. That's what determines whether struggle destroys you or strengthens you. Every time life gets hard, you're faced with a choice. You can complain, resist, and crumble under pressure like the majority, or you can lean into the struggle and let it sharpen you. Struggle forces adaptation. When everything is comfortable, nothing changes. The moment you're pushed, stretched, or challenged, your body and mind are forced to evolve. Think about it. Muscles don't grow without resistance. Skills don't improve without repetition. Character doesn't deepen without adversity. Struggle is the raw material from which strength is built. The mistake people make is believing strength comes from success. It doesn't. Strength comes from the battles you fight on the way to success. It comes from the nights you push through fatigue, from the days you show up even when you feel defeated, from the decisions you make when no one is watching. These are the moments that build greatness. And here's another hook you must internalize. Every struggle you survive becomes a weapon you carry into your future. The stronger you become, the harder it is for life to break you. What makes struggle valuable is that it exposes weaknesses you didn't even know you had. When things go smoothly, those weaknesses stay hidden, comfortable, untouched, unchallenged. But when life applies pressure, they rise to the surface. That's not a bad thing. That's the opportunity. Struggle doesn't just reveal your weaknesses. It gives you the chance to eliminate them. It forces you to improve your discipline, sharpen your focus, and cut away the habits that hold you back. In this way, struggle becomes a sculptor, chiseling you into a stronger version of yourself. Struggle also builds mental resilience. There will be moments where you feel exhausted, unmotivated, or lost. Moments where you question your path, your abilities, or your worth. These moments are not signs to quit. They are signs that you're leveling up. Strength is built when you continue forward despite doubt. Confidence is built when you act even when you're afraid. Resilience is built when you refuse to let temporary struggle define your long-term destiny. The person who can endure discomfort becomes unstoppable because no external force can shake their internal stability. Another powerful effect of struggle is that it redefines your relationship with effort. When you consistently push through difficult situations, effort becomes familiar. Hard work becomes normal. Discipline becomes automatic. What used to feel overwhelming now feels manageable. What once intimidated you becomes something you handle with ease. This shift in mindset is life-changing because once hard becomes normal, normal becomes easy, and easy becomes irrelevant. You start aiming for challenges because you know challenges are what make you stronger. And here's the final hook. Struggle always gives you two gifts, wisdom and proof. Wisdom comes from the lessons learned through hardship. Proof comes from knowing you survived it. When you look back at the battles you've already overcome, you realize how much power you carry inside you. This confidence, built through struggle, pushes you to take bigger risks, pursue bigger dreams, and believe in yourself on a deeper level. So when struggle shows up, do not resist it. Do not fear it. Use it. Convert it. Let the pressure push you into a stronger form of yourself. Because every struggle is a stepping stone toward greatness, and every step you take builds a strength that no one, not even life, can take away from you. Using pain as fuel instead of an excuse is one of the most decisive shifts a person can make in their journey toward success. Most people crumble the moment life becomes uncomfortable. They fall into self-pity, blaming circumstances, blaming people, blaming fate, anything to avoid taking responsibility. But the individuals who rise above, the ones who build unshakable confidence and undeniable results, are those who take that same pain and convert it into momentum. Here's the hook. The difference between the person who wins and the person who quits is not the amount of pain they feel. It's what they do with it. Pain will visit everyone. No one escapes struggle, loss, betrayal, disappointment, or failure. But while most people allow these moments to drain their energy, the strongest learn to transform them into power. They look at pain and say, good, this is fuel. They understand that pain sparks movement. It forces action. It creates pressure that pushes them out of stagnation. The truth is simple. Pain can break you or build you, weaken you or motivate you, bury you or rebirth you. And in every moment of struggle, you are the one making that choice. When you choose to use pain as fuel, you strip it of its ability to control you. Instead of sitting in frustration, you channel that emotion into something productive, training harder, creating more, focusing deeper, working longer, improving yourself with relentless intention. Pain becomes the ignition point, becomes the spark that makes you work when motivation is dead. It becomes the reminder that you have something to prove to yourself, not the world. That's what makes the transformation so powerful. Anyone can work when everything is easy. Only a disciplined, driven individual can work when everything hurts. Pain also sharpens clarity. When you feel broken or disappointed, you stop wasting time on things that don't matter. You stop entertaining shallow opinions, meaningless distractions, and people who don't value you. You begin to see your priorities with precision. Pain cuts through the noise and forces you to reconnect with your purpose. It shows you what actually deserves your energy. And here's another hook. Pain doesn't just guide you. It filters your life, removing everything that slows your growth. Choosing to use pain as fuel builds emotional endurance. You learn to handle stress without collapsing, to face challenges without losing yourself, to endure discomfort without losing direction. This emotional toughness becomes one of your greatest strengths because the world rewards the ones who can stay centered while everything around them falls apart. When you realize that pain can't stop you, fear loses its power over you. You become someone who cannot be intimidated by difficulty because you've learned to convert that difficulty into drive. Another powerful effect of using pain as fuel is that it destroys excuses. Excuses come from emotion, specifically the desire to avoid discomfort. But when you train your mind to move through pain instead of running from it, excuses lose their influence. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop giving in to laziness, hesitation, or weakness. Your identity shifts from someone who reacts to circumstances to someone who shapes their own outcomes. You take command of your life with a level of maturity and strength that most people never reach. And here's the final hook that defines champions. Every time you turn pain into fuel, you build proof that you're capable of rising again. Proof creates confidence. Confidence creates consistency. Consistency creates power. And once you operate with that kind of power, success becomes a natural byproduct of who you are, not something you chase, but something you attract. Pain isn't your enemy. It's your energy source. It's a force you can use to grow faster, work harder, and push further than you ever thought possible. The moment you stop letting pain slow you down and start letting it motivate you, you step into a different league, a league where excuses die, discipline rises, and greatness becomes inevitable. Power means nothing without action because potential alone has never built a legacy, changed a life, or created a champion. You can possess talent, intelligence, ambition, and inner strength, but if all of it remains unused, locked inside your mind, then it is nothing more than wasted energy. Real transformation happens only when you take the power you've built and convert it into decisive movement. Here's the hook. The world doesn't remember powerful thinkers. It remembers powerful doers. Action is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. And without crossing that bridge, your power stays trapped inside you. Many people spend their lives building internal power through experiences, challenges, and lessons. but they never take the bold steps required to express that power. They wait for the right moment, the perfect timing, the easier situation, but that moment never comes. Waiting kills more dreams than failure ever will. Your skills mean nothing if you don't apply them. Your discipline means nothing if you don't act on it. Your pain-built strength means nothing if it doesn't push you forward. Power without action becomes a burden, heavy, unused potential weighing on your conscience, reminding you of everything you could have been. Action is what separates the successful from the forgotten. Everyone has ideas. Everyone has dreams. Everyone has visions of a better life, but only a small percentage of people turn these visions into reality, and they do it through relentless, consistent action. They don't wait until they feel ready. They move even when they're unsure. They don't seek approval. They create results. They don't depend on motivation. They depend on discipline. And here's another hook. Your results will always speak louder than your reasons for not trying. When you take action, even imperfect action, you ignite momentum. Momentum creates progress, and progress builds confidence. Confidence reinforces belief, and belief strengthens your identity. This chain reaction cannot begin until you move. Sitting still keeps you stuck in your head, overthinking, doubting, and imagining obstacles that don't exist. But the moment you act, your perspective shifts, problems shrink, fear fades, clarity grows. You begin to realize that most limitations were mental, not real. Power becomes truly meaningful only when you direct it towards your goals with precision. That means taking the strength you've earned from your struggles and using it to break through barriers. It means taking the lessons you've learned from pain and applying them to new challenges. It means channeling your discipline into habits, routines, and actions that build a future worth living. You can have all the power in the world, but if you don't take action, you remain stuck exactly where you are, wishing instead of achieving. Another important truth is that action builds identity. Every time you choose to act, you reinforce the mindset of a winner. You prove to yourself that you are someone who moves, someone who executes, someone who does what others only talk about. This identity becomes a powerful weapon because once you see yourself as a doer, you stop tolerating laziness, excuses, procrastination, or weakness. You begin to reject anything that slows you down or undermines your growth. And here's the final hook that defines true champions. Power is temporary if you don't use it, but it becomes permanent when you act on it every single day. The more you use your power, the more power you gain. The more you move, the more momentum you build. The more you execute, the more you dominate. Victory belongs to those who take their internal strength and convert it into external results. Power without action is potential. Power with action becomes victory. The world rewards the man who turns energy into effort, ideas into execution, and dreams into reality. Your future depends on what you do next. Not what you think, not what you feel, but what you execute. Use your power, direct it, apply it. Make your life a reflection of your discipline, not your doubts. Discipline is the weapon that separates the dreamers from the doers, the talkers from the achievers, and the average from the exceptional. Motivation is temporary. An emotion that rises and falls depending on your environment, your mood, or your circumstances. But discipline is permanent. Discipline is a commitment you make to yourself regardless of how you feel. It is the quiet force that pushes you forward when motivation dies, when comfort tempts you, and when the world tries to distract you. And here's the hook. The man who is disciplined will always outperform the man who is motivated. Always. Discipline transforms your daily life because it removes negotiation. When you're motivated, you ask yourself, do I feel like doing this today? But when you're disciplined, the question doesn't exist. You do the work because it needs to be done. You follow the routine because it leads to your goals. You show up because your identity demands it. Discipline eliminates the weakness of choice. It replaces emotional decision-making with purposeful action. Over time, this builds a level of consistency that becomes unstoppable. Most people fail not because they lack talent or desire, but because they rely on motivation to carry them. They start strong, but the moment life becomes inconvenient, they stop. They don't realize that success is built in the moments when you push through discomfort. Those moments define you more than any burst of inspiration ever will. Discipline trains your mind to move forward even when your emotions resist. That ability to act independent of mood is what makes champions. Discipline also builds structure in a world full of chaos. Life will always be unpredictable. Challenges will appear without warning. Plans will fall apart. People will disappoint you. But discipline creates stability within yourself. When you have routines, standards, and non-negotiable habits, you become grounded. No matter what happens around you, you remain aligned with your goals. You don't get lost in distractions, drama, or temporary setbacks because your discipline keeps you anchored. And here's another hook. Undisciplined people break under pressure. Disciplined people rise because pressure is already part of their lifestyle. Another powerful aspect of discipline is that it compounds. Every disciplined choice you make, waking up early, reading, training, working, improving, builds on the last one. Each action strengthens the next. Over weeks, months, and years, this compounding effect becomes undeniable. You begin to outperform people who once seemed ahead of you. You surpass individuals who relied solely on talent or short-term motivation. You evolve into someone who is unstoppable because discipline has rewired your identity from the inside out. Discipline also destroys excuses. When you commit to disciplined living, you stop justifying laziness or procrastination. You stop blaming circumstances for your lack of progress. You stop giving power to distraction. Discipline teaches you personal accountability, a trait rare in most people. You begin to understand that your success is your responsibility, nobody else's. This mindset shift is one of the most powerful transformations a person can experience because it gives you control over your life again. And here's the hook that hits the hardest. Discipline creates freedom. It may feel restrictive at first, but discipline gives you the freedom that others will never experience. Freedom from regret, freedom from chaos, freedom from self-doubt, freedom from wasted potential. When you discipline your habits, you free your future. When you discipline your mind, you free your possibilities. When you discipline your actions, you free yourself from being controlled by your emotions. The truth is simple. Discipline is the foundation of every victory. It sharpens your focus, strengthens your character, and elevates your standards. It pushes you toward the life you want, even when everything inside you tries to hold you back. Discipline is not a burden, it is a gift. The moment you embrace it, you stop living like everyone else and start living like the person you were meant to become. Victory belongs to the man who refuses to quit because persistence is the one trait that outperforms talent, intelligence, luck, and even timing. Every great achievement, every remarkable transformation, every success story you admire was built on the foundation of not giving up, even when quitting felt easier, safer, or more comfortable. People underestimate how powerful consistency is. They think victory comes from massive moments, dramatic breakthroughs, or sudden opportunities. But here's the hook. Victory is rarely about brilliance. It's about endurance. It goes to the one who keeps moving when others walk away. The world is full of almost successful people, individuals who had the potential, the skills, the opportunities, but they quit right before the breakthrough. They stopped when the discomfort became too sharp, the progress too slow, or the obstacles too heavy. What they didn't realize is that pressure intensifies the closer you get to something big. Resistance hits hardest before the victory. Life tests your commitment right at the edge of transformation. The man who refuses to quit understands this. He expects difficulty. He embraces resistance. He sees struggle not as a sign to stop, but as a confirmation that he's on the right path. Refusing to quit builds an identity that cannot be shaken. Every time you choose perseverance over surrender, you send a message to your mind that you are someone who finishes what you start. This self-trust becomes powerful fuel. When you know you can rely on yourself, your confidence and decision-making improve. You stop doubting your path. You stop overthinking every challenge. You stop being intimidated by setbacks. You move with clarity because you've already proven to yourself that no obstacle is stronger than your will. And here's another hook. A man who knows he won't quit becomes dangerous, not to others, but to his limitations. The refusal to quit also forces you to grow. When you keep pushing through difficulty, you naturally develop new skills, stronger habits, and a deeper understanding of yourself. You learn to adapt. You learn to problem solve. You learn to endure. You learn to keep going even when progress is invisible. Most people quit because they don't see immediate results. They expect success to come quickly, but victory requires patience. It rewards those who are willing to stay committed even when there is no applause, no recognition, and no guarantee. The man who refuses to quit builds the mental endurance to stay the course long enough for success to reveal itself. Not quitting also teaches you the value of resilience. Life will knock you down. Everyone experiences failure, loss, and setbacks. But the difference between those who win and those who don't is simple. Winners get up one more time. That's it. Every failure becomes a lesson, not a dead end. Every setback becomes a stepping stone, not a conclusion. This mindset removes fear from your journey. When you're not afraid of falling, you move faster, bolder, and with more certainty. You understand that failure is not the opposite of victory. It is part of it. Another powerful truth is that refusal builds respect, both from others and from yourself. People follow those who stay strong under pressure. They admire those who persist through adversity. And more importantly, you begin to admire yourself. You build inner pride, not from empty achievements, but from knowing you never back down. That internal respect becomes one of the greatest motivators you will ever experience. And here's the final hook. Victory doesn't always go to the strongest, the smartest, or the most talented. It goes to the last man standing, the man who keeps going when motivation fades, the man who chooses discipline over comfort, the man who holds the line when everyone else collapses. That level of persistence creates a force that life cannot deny. Refusing to quit turns ordinary individuals into extraordinary achievers. It shapes champions, leaders, and examples. When you commit to never stopping, you make victory not a possibility, but an inevitability. So when you walk out of this room, remember this: your past pain is not a burden, it's ammunition. The world will try to hold you down, life will try to test you, but you rise anyway. You fight anyway, you build anyway, because you are no longer running from pain. You are using it, you are turning it into power, and with that power, you will carve your own victory, one disciplined day at a time. Now go, turn pain into power, and turn that power into victory.